What is going on, everyone? My name is James Livingston, back here again, giving you guys a market breakdown, looking over our favorite ETFs, SPY, QQQ, IWM, also pitching over to Nvidia or Tesla. I'm going to pick one or the other today, just whichever one that's looking like it's got a better opportunity. But first and foremost, guys, I just want to thank you guys for the support on the last video. I know I haven't been posting that much, so the support on these videos really does mean a lot to me. And it's just cool to see a lot of people interested in learning how to trade. So first and foremost, guys, we're going to go over SPY, looking over the daily chart. Obviously, we talked about yesterday, we had the push up. We had these massive pushes up over the last couple of days with the elections, etc. It was warranted that at some point here, we're going to start to see some pullback. And it looks like we're starting to see some early signs of the pullback here on the 4 hour. The daily showed us obviously a little bit more of a rejection style candle. We call these when you see this small wick to the top, small body, and then a larger wick to the bottom at the top of a trend. We call these a hangman. They can signal potential trend reversals, so something worth noting there. Volume isn't anything crazy, so the sellers do need to get a little bit more busy to get this thing to come down. However, they do have a lot of open room if they really want to. 4 hours looking the same. We already tapped out at about 6:01 yesterday morning, and then from there it kind of just melted off, stayed steady right there on the 4 hour 4 hour 20. Oh wow, I changed this. My apologies. Change this back. Sorry. We still do have room down to the 20 EMA, which is the one I'm really watching for. So if we go in here on the 15-minute, looking just for specific levels here today, we can see already kind of forming almost like a head and shoulders style pattern. We have one shoulder here, head here, possible other shoulder here. We're looking at a neckline right down here at the 597 to 597.25 area. Breakdown of that probably will give us that 15-minute 200 EMA, if not a little bit lower. Target would be just about right down to where we had that peak on last Thursday before the spike up in the end of the day there. Excuse me. So level-wise, like I said, 597 is really that line in the sand that I'm waiting for a breakdown on to look short. And then upside, in order to invalidate this head and shoulders, I would like us to break the head or break the shoulder over here at about 598.85-ish. That would signal to me that we have a chance to go back up to 600, 601, etc., etc. Moving on over to QQQ, you can see I have my previous drawing from yesterday, just picture perfect how this thing played out. Again, we were looking at this rising wedge that we have right here. Get rid of these for right now. We had this rising wedge right here that typically, again, like I stated in the last video, does seem kind of bearish to me. When you're just pinching down and we're already at highs, I do tend to lean a little more bearish on these patterns. We already mapped out kind of these zones that we'd be looking at possible bounces. The very first push down in the morning bounced just above that zone and right back into another zone. At the end of the day, when we're trading, guys, we are trading level to level, zone to zone. That is how I like to trade. I think it just makes the most sense. And you can place your entries within those zones, whether it be for up or down. But anyways, let's get rid of these for right now, just to kind of find you guys exact levels. So right now I am looking at a break of this pre-market low right here. Ideally, I'd like to see this 200 EMA get lost on the 15 first before I would look for short entries. So I would say you're probably looking closer to 511 at this point for the bigger breakdown. You could scalp a break off of the 511.75, but again, with that 200 EMA being right there, there is potential this morning for it to be lying right here come market open. So just be careful taking that entry for a short. And then upside wise, I would be looking at 514.15. I think that that's been touched once, twice, 3 times now in the after hour. And then target would be the pre-market kind of zone that we had from yesterday, which would be right here in this 515.50 to 516. So that's QQQ. IWM, as we had talked about in the video yesterday, very strong movement here. A nice push to the upside off of this kind of triangle, symmetrical triangle, whatever you want to call it. Right, Yeah, it's not a rising wedge. I'm trying to remember what this pattern is called. But anyways, got the breakup, got the full-on push. We did get a pullback, which is actually pretty good for this pattern. I'd ideally even like to see a bigger pullback down to the 239 area. And I think you're actually looking not too bad for a potential entry to continue. Now, obviously, we have been up for quite some time, so have your stops ready. Know where you're going to stop yourself out if you do enter at 239. I would say at this point, to invalidate this move right here, you're probably looking at a full-on break of the 236.40 area, and then that should start to really break this thing down. If you want a safer exit as well, 237.50 might be a good exit there. But as far as downside, right now to see that push, obviously looking at the break of this pre-market low right here. So we're looking at about 239.50 to go down to 239, and then upside, I would not look upside on this one until we see that 241.50 level get touched again. So I really don't even have to move anything here. They're pretty accurate. Now going on over to, I'm going to look at Tesla in particular because Tesla has been running for quite some time, and it is due for somewhat of a pullback here soon. So yesterday's daily candle closed out a little more indecisive. We had stronger candles leading into it. The gap up to about an opening price or high wick price of 358.64, and I know after hours we did at some point reach 366, I think it was, overnight. At least on Robinhood's charts. But right here, looks like it peaked out at about 361. We're starting to see some profit taking begin overnight. So just be very careful. We are at the spot currently where we had rejection yesterday in pre-market. We're starting to see that pre-market rejection again, just a hair under the 347, 348 area. Now, for downside on Tesla, I would really like to see this 336.29 break first. Now I know that that's $10 from here, but as far as actual moves happen or go, I would like to see the 336.30 area get broken before I look for short entries, because anywhere right here we are still in kind of chop zone. Until we break this, that breaks us under the 60 EMA on the 30-minute, higher time frame. Bigger EMA to break, and I think that would give us way down into this little gap here to the 324s, and potentially further. So I think there's a short setting up, but for right now it's a no trade zone until we get that 336 breakdown. Upside, looking at about essentially that 358.50 top that we had. I would say arguably you can probably look into it about 357.70. That should give us a little pop up towards the 360 zone or higher. But until then, until those two levels get touched, I think we are in a no trade zone. Just because of timing here, I'm going to go over NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA right now, looking at it, I was just looking at this one with a student yesterday. You can see that we had a rejection style candle or an indecisive candle, and then we had this candle from yesterday that actually broke the low of Friday's price action. So to me, it broke the low and it closed beneath that low as well. So two bearish signals to me. The 4 hour, as of right now, is looking okay on our current 4 hour that's forming, getting a little bit of a pop up. However, would like to see this thing continue down. I think it will continue down in my opinion, but as levels break, we'll start to pivot our decision opposite. So right now, I think the same peak that we had over here on, was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. So the same peak we had right here at about 146.50 was the same exact spot when we bounced in the morning yesterday. We retested that area and dropped further. So 146.50 is my current buy zone. If we get up into there and we start pushing, we have all of this kind of open liquidity from the drop down in the morning that thing can get eaten up pretty quickly, up to the 148s, 149. As far as downside, 143.50 is kind of that line in the sand, the low of day there from yesterday, and then we did dip down a little bit under it this morning, but I think 143.57, 143.60, 143.55, whatever you want to put there, I think that general spot is what we're looking for the breakdown, where we can start to see as low as the $140 level get retested. So that is what I am looking at here today on SPY, QQQ, IWM, Tesla, and NVIDIA. Just to let some of you guys know, I do believe we have some kind of market news here today. Let me just double check. We have a couple of Fed speakers from 10 a.m. to 10:15, and then one more at 5 p.m. So a couple of Fed speakers, and then tomorrow we do have CPI. So be careful swinging anything into tomorrow, as price action can get pretty wild when CPI hits, just due to the inflation report coming out. So a couple news pieces coming out at the end of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please drop a like. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think, what you guys want to see moving forward. I have a couple videos in the pipeline that I'm going to be putting out regarding entries, exits, and just some other strategies you guys can use. So be on the lookout for those. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.